Ned Stark correctly predicted it, and winter is officially here in the UK, which means it's raining all the time. And that's meant my Z has unfortunately developed a little bit of a problem. When we come into the cabin, everything is nice and dry, floor's dry, there's no water or anything underneath any of the seats, but look how much condensation is on the windscreen. You can literally just, it's wet, which means water is getting into the car somewhere, and it's definitely not in the front of the car, which means it's in the boot. And I've got a feeling I know where it might be, because in the past I've spotted water down by the spare wheel. Let's just get this up and take a look. Down, you can see there, see a bit of water down there. I've got a feeling we've got a leak in the back here somewhere. There's a chance that it's where I've run the wires from underneath the boot down for the underglow out of one of the rear vents, and water's getting in through there, but I don't know, it might be something else. So we've got to try and figure out what's wrong, which means carpet out, wheel out, foam out, interior plastic out. Let's see if we can see anything that looks like it might be leaking, and if so, can we fix it? And this is going to be made extra difficult by the fact that wing plus water on top of it, plus that parcel shelf thing, plus old struts, means that this will not stay up under its own pressure. So I need to jam something in there. Fun! Microphone stand. Yeah, we definitely have a problem. So, Paul's here. Obviously this is all sound insulated and sound deadened, but yeah, there's a bunch of water here, a bunch back here. Really, I need to see what walls it's on, because I expect that's where it's coming through, because everything up here is dry. I don't think it's coming through up the top anywhere. So it's probably one of the gaskets around the side leaking in somewhere, but how it's getting right into the middle here is beyond me. Right, got to get rid of this, all this. It's all got to come out. So that's the vent I'm talking about, and these are the wires here that track down for the underglow, and I've tried to make it so it doesn't impact how these things open and close too much, and I don't think that's the source there, but up above here is really wet, and there's a couple of like grommets and things, and this one in particular, if I touch this, like this is soaking under here. So it's around here that I think the water's getting in somewhere. Just as part of a process of elimination, let's take the other side out as well and see what that back corner's like, see if it's the same. Yeah. No, so this side is all dry. Yeah. It's definitely this. This is my naughty corner. It's often reported that you get leaks behind the lights and some of the grommets that come down from here, so I think that's probably a good place to start looking, but a lot of water for coming in from just that one spot. But I guess once it gets in, it just sits on top, and then as the car moves around, it distributes. And then these are the low points in the middle of the car, so it's bound to like sit there. Well, the other thing I need to do is remove this light and then just see if there's anything obvious where it might be like going underneath this trim and then getting in behind the light somewhere, because that's a possibility. It's just a process of elimination, this thing. Right. I have an immediate suspicion. I've got a feeling it's this grommet here. Like, it's really wet around it, so obviously water is pooling there. And if I put my hand like under here on the underside and feel it, it is really wet around the inside of that grommet. In fact, if I move it a little bit, you can see it move. So I think this thing isn't being completely watertight. It might be one of these, but I've got a feeling water will just drain past these rather than, you know, because there's a low point here. And this low point is where the water would sit and come down. It would avoid all of these, but then as soon as it gets to here, it comes and it pulls here. And if this isn't completely watertight, this will let the water in. Process of elimination, like under here. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a little bit damp, but you would expect it to be. That's going to be my one. Also, my bumper isn't quite clipped on properly, which is probably why it's not got a very good panel gap, but this is being replaced soon with a fancy new bumper coming from Japan, so I'm not too worried about that. But this, I think, is my problem, so I need to seal this. So let's take this bung out, and then we'll basically just fill it with silicone sealant, pop it back in, and that should be everything. I popped it off and immediately fell into the bumper, because of course it did. Oh, you swine. Yeah, looking at where all the water is congregated, this is definitely the problem. That grommet is gone forever. Oh well, it doesn't matter. What we're going to do is fill this with just like a silicone sealant, and then just put a tiny little round circle of rubber on top, and the silicone sealant will just like glue it in place. And that should be it. It shouldn't be any more difficult than that. So what I've decided I'm actually going to do is put a plastic bung through here. I'm not worried about the rattling. I don't think it does any movement. But I just want to make sure I find the right size. Yeah, that one will go in perfectly, but I want to make sure it is all properly sealed from both sides. So I'm going to coat the underside of this with the rubber sealant, push it in, and then coat the entire thing around the outside edge again with the gasket seal. And we're going to use this stuff, triple QX gasket sealant. It's exactly what it sounds like, dead easy to use, but rubber gloves. Put a plenty thick layer around that inside edge there. It's just going to spread out. By leaving a slight, thickness of it on top of the actual plastic thing, it means we'll get a slight, dampening effect from any vibrations that might come from there. So I think that's good. I'm going to put some on the underside as well. So I'm just going to get some on my finger and then smear it around as much as I can, and then we'll dry it all off. Right, there it is, all sealed on the underside. And I don't think that this grommet, which is this one, is the problem, but I'm just going to stick a layer of sealant around here as well, because it can't hurt. You know what, I might as well do the other one while I'm in here as well. It's not actually leaking right now, but future proofing. So what I need to do now is leave it. So leave it a couple of hours for that to dry before I put the light back on. And then dry up all the inside here. Then leave it for about a week. Drive around it in a bit, let it rain, and see if we've stopped the water coming in. Because it comes in every time it rains, so yeah, it should show itself pretty obviously and should be pretty clear if we fixed it. So I'm going to dry this up and then we'll jump a week into the future. Here we are, basically a week later, and in here there is absolutely no water. It's all dry. Nothing on here, no condensation. Everything around the vent is fine despite those little wires running through. I think we've done it, sorted it. Fortunately, it was just that little grommet underneath the rear light. Dead easy to sort. Yeah, always nice when it's a simple one. So yeah, if you've got a 350Z and you're getting water into like the space where your wheel is, fair chance it's those grommets. So good starting point to look. And if it doesn't look like it's that for you, just check your other seals and your gaskets around the back, because chances are it's going to be one of those. Guess I should put my interior back in. Fun! Anyway, whatever you do with the rest of your day, folks, have a wicked one. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, peeps. Bye-bye.